Hello, everybody. I'm getting familiar with that funky music that leads the intro now. So, welcome. Thank you for coming here today in such excellent numbers. Great performance. So, I just want to talk to you about the subject of data. We're here because the AOP believes, after talking to amongst its members, running workshops, that collective data is a very significant opportunity to increase ad revenue, to build a better relationship and a better profile with the advertisers and clients. And also, there are many other sort of knock-on areas of opportunity that come from it. So we're trying to find the right strategy of how we make collective data work. Along the way, we've spun out a separate work stream on GDPR so that we can give it the correct amount of focus of what we're going to do. I might mention a little bit about that on the way. But anyway, I just want to give you a quick intro, because then the brains will come on the stage and explain everything. Okay, so we figured out we were going to work on collective data. It was about this sort of time last year. We've been working with technology companies, overseas collectives, our publisher members. We've done workshops. We've got a session here today, all to try and figure out what it is our members should be doing together about data. Sorry to throw charts at you, but actually, when you think about data, the people that lead the market, Facebook, Google, Amazon are coming, other players are coming to that space. But there are now a few players in the market, not many, that have very high-level strategic relationships with advertisers that cover everything that they're doing. And they're doing that because they can deliver scale, precision targeting, insight, a consumer level of who the audience is, and attribution. They're doing everything that an advertiser and a client needs. And that is different now to what the rest of the market can offer. So it's making competition hard. That's why, if you have to look at the key pivotal reason why so much ad revenue is going to Facebook and Google, it's because they've done these things that clients need better than anybody else has done. So, wait a second. So what's happening in the world as a reaction? What are publishers doing? There's lots of cooperatives have been formed, right? So sorry if there's lots of writing, but I'll try and explain it a little bit. I'll try not to talk for too long. Pangea Alliance here in the glorious UK. It's a group of publishers that are delivering a scaled inventory play. So that's the scale part of scale, insight, precision, attribution. Ad Audience in Germany is delivering defined audience groupings across a group of publishers. So it's playing to that part of the market that is buying audience, and it's trying to define those valuable audiences. But it's doing that, and it's got prices against each of those audience breaks, and away you go. There's the TrustX Alliance in the UK. It's a massive alliance of publishers there, covering enormous scale, and they're dealing with delivering a brand-safe environment, and crucially, they're trying to deliver transparency as well, so a closer connection to the buyer. There are some really ugly numbers in the market that say that of every £100 that an advertiser spends on media, something like 25 gets to the publisher, which is obviously wrong, isn't going to last either, but it's something that needs to be corrected. And so also in there are collectives in France. So there's loads of collectives in France, actually. There's Laplace Media, which is a group of mid-sized publishers delivering scale together. There's Gravity, which is 15 publishers, including Lagardère, Condé Nast, and a few others. They are pooling data together. There is Skyline, which is another French play, which is Le Monde Le Figaro, delivering scale. They've resourced this with 50 people dedicated to Skyline Media alone. And then there's others. There's Project Nonio in Portugal. There's Adform in Finland. So there are all these plays out there in the market that are publishers coming together saying, like, yeah, this data thing is something we need to do something about. Okay, some of them are going for scale, right? But in the end, they're trying to address the same challenge. So what's the AOP trying to do with this? Well, it's not what the AOP is trying to do, it's what our members are urging us to do, what we're trying to learn from you as we try to move forward. We think that there are some competitive advantages in this that can only be claimed through cooperation. Well, I think they're sort of fairly self-evident there, but I'll go into them in a bit. We want to, so just because we've referenced a bunch of cooperatives in the last slide doesn't mean we think that there has to be some kind of official, very structured cooperative created. Of course, we're moving towards some kind of cooperation model, but we think that the more we talk about it, the more we realise the need for flexibility in that in turn, and entrepreneurial freedom to make the right kind of partnerships between publishers. So we're not trying to create some single inflexible platform, much as that is the vogue in the industry today. So we're here today to encourage more partnerships. Ryan from DAX will speak about some of the partnerships that they've been creating in data. They've been really working well. And we're aiming to look at sort of what the higher level benefits are as well. What can we do strategically together to accelerate things? So I love this next slide, right? Because I don't think that premium publishers have gone to the market particularly selling the idea of what premium publishing is. I think that you've gone to the market selling brilliantly what you do individually. But if you put it all together, it's something that is also beautiful. Excuse the small writing, okay, right? But I'll read it to you. Our members provide an environment, where audiences access trustworthy news from trained professionals of integrity, follow their special interests from cycling to music, from travel to cars, educate themselves personally and professionally, and make important purchases and lifestyle decisions. It's the go-to place where many millions of people support, explore, and develop their passions, professions, and purposes. So I thought, this is cool, right? We're discovering something here. We can say something really compelling. Because actually, if you are an advertiser, you want to be where someone is shaping their decisions and learning about what they're going to do. And actually, you can see all these signals within this aggregated idea of what premium publishers are doing. But then actually, you start to discover that other people are starting to catch on to this too. So when I'm showing you alongside Facebook and Google, you see Xaxis Turbine. Xaxis Turbine is an aggregation of premium publisher data. So actually, as we speak about premium publishers bringing data together, at the same time as you aren't doing as much of it as you could, for whatever reason, someone else is doing it. So that's the other thing to think about. So again, I'll just restate it, right? We're not saying every AOP member should work together, but just looking at it, what would it mean? So this is a slide that we took from the data work we were doing in one of the sessions. You actually have scale across all of our membership, 43 million in reach. You've got all the mass market activities covered. You've got precision, because like we said just before, every interest in and out of market is covered. You've got insight, because you can start to put together things that says, oh, that person that is interested in that car is also just about to get married and by the way, has a mountain biking habit, right? Etc. And you can start to do that across, it'd be fairly extensive. We extended that idea in that session that we did to say, okay, actually you can identify all the different cars that person's in, that audiences are indicating interest in, and you can start to map out the different habits of those different audiences. So you've got the chance to do those precision, attribution, insight stuff that comes out of it. So, sorry. So I just wanted to suggest, before we're going to do this in the panel sort of discussion, this is just to sort of frame what has gone on so far, what we've been talking to each other about, and what we're trying to encourage as a discussion. As we looked at all these things that you could do, we said that, okay, there's technology that can make all this happen, but let's start with the first part, which is let's encourage our members just to work with each other. We did, we've had presentations from DAX to the rest of the group in the commercial group. We've had a data dating session. We've had some really interesting discussions going on between different members saying, okay, this is what I've got, what have you got, how can we put this together? And so that's something that we want to encourage and keep going. We've also then looked at technology that says actually there's some important things that need to happen for data to work better for publishers. You need to find a way to, I know that these are things that you know, right? But just we were interested to see how this is enabled by technology and happening and possible now. But you need to be able to move from cookies to people. That makes a lot of things happen. It means that you can target that person with the correct frequency. It means that you can also do attribution in a way that you probably can't do just with cookies. You need to be able to put data together in different ways to start to draw insight from that, to be able to say, okay, Mr. Advertiser, these are the interesting things that are happening. But not just for insight, but for scale as well. In an ideal world, you'd be able to action this in real time, and there are possibilities to do that. And then you want attribution integrated. So we've titled that Models for Cooperation, because you don't have to do all of these things. You can start to do some of these things and bring them together. Those are thoughts that we want to put to you. And along the way of having these discussions, we've seen from the buy side that they are really keen and encouraging in the strongest possible way that more publishers come together to start to produce this kind of information and understanding and insight, because the world needs it. We don't want that scarcity of competition, only a few players. That isn't good for anybody other than those few players, and that needs to change.